Hello everyone, my name is Musa Darna, and today I'm going to be going over the PostgreSQL application for Linux and Ubuntu operating systems. This application is used for managing databases on Ubuntu and Linux, and I'm going to also be going over some hardening recommendations and the installation procedure. So let's get into it. So first off, I just want to give a little general background about what databases are. So databases are actually a structured collection of data that can be stored, managed, and retrieved. There's different kinds of database systems. So we have relational databases, which is what PostgreSQL is. It uses tables, schemas, and SQL queries. You also have NoSQL databases, which are used for more scalable and flexible data storage. Some examples of these would be Mongo database, Redis, and Cassandra. And some examples of these relational databases would be PostgreSQL, MySQL, and Maria database. So MySQL it's more popular with web applications. So if you're setting up a web server, or and Maria it's kind of like MySQL. It comes with extra features. And then obviously PostgreSQL is it's an advanced relational database management system with SQL support. And again, these databases are important for data organization and structure and fast data retrieval. So they're used to store, manage, and retrieve data efficiently. And overall, organizations use databases to handle when they have large amounts of data, and they need to handle these large amounts of information while also ensuring security and fast access. So fast access is an important feature of databases. Moving on to PostgreSQL, what it actually is. So we went over how it's an open source database management system. It's known for its robustness and extensibility, and it has many uses. So it can be used for web applications, enterprise applications, geospatial applications such as GIS systems, and data warehousing and analytics. It usually runs on port 5432, which is the default port. And if necessary, you might have to configure your firewall to allow traffic to port 5432. And again, web applications. So apps like Instagram or Twitter used PostgreSQL. Enterprise applications such as financial or e-commerce systems used PostgreSQL to manage obviously the large amounts of financial data, and if they need to access it quickly. And data warehousing, this is just for support for the big data, and it supports indexing and partitioning, which is indexing is used to look up the information quickly. Some features that PostgreSQL has to offer. It supports custom data types, functions, and extensions such as PostGIS. It also supports joins, indexing, stored procedures, triggers, and window functions. High performance transactions without database locking. It also has some security features in place, such as secure shell encryption, role-based access control, and hashing authentication methods. High availability and fault tolerance. And data integrity. This just ensures that data isn't changed by unauthorized users, and it ensures compliancy with ACID, which is atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. So to actually get PostgreSQL up and running on your operating system, you first want to open up a command shell and make sure your operating system is up to date and running. And you can do this by running the command sudo apt update. And then to install PostgreSQL, you want to run this command right here, sudo apt install PostgreSQL, and then PostgreSQL-contrib-y. This just installs the contrib file, which includes the additional tools and extensions that are necessary to manage the database. To switch to the user in PostgreSQL, you just want to run the command sudo-i-u Postgres. And then to open up the interactive shell, you want to run the command psql. And then again, just you want to make sure that traffic is allowed on your operating system. So you might have to add some rules to allow traffic to port 5432, which again is the default port for PostgreSQL. And these are just going to be some hardening recommendations. The first one would be to restrict access to configuration files of PostgreSQL. So if you want to change ownership or permissions for these configuration files just to prevent unauthorized users from accessing these files, or even worse, modifying them, this ensures that only the service itself is able to actually read, write, modify these files and have those permissions. Disable remote access. So this is good for blocking unauthorized remote connections, and it reduces exposure to network-based attacks. So another good security recommendation right there. And the last one would be to use role-based access control, RBAC. So this just prevents unauthorized privilege escalation. So by giving users permissions based on the role and giving them access to only what's needed for the role, you can limit the impact of, let's say, an attacker was to compromise a user account. They would only have access to what's given to them. And again, this would prevent privilege escalation, and it would also limit the impact of it. And these are my references. And that is the end of the show. Thank you for watching.